What if a single fill-up started a countdown to catastrophic engine failure? You won't hear it. You won't feel it. But I've sectioned seized engines where the failure cascade began months, even years, earlier with a single tank of bad gas. Forensic evidence shows this silent progression is happening right now in thousands of cars. Today, I'm going to show you the 11 hidden stages of that countdown, from a harmless fill-up to a $12,000 nightmare. And I promise, if you stay until the end, I'll give you the exact countermeasures to stop this chain reaction in its tracks. Number 11. Phase separation and corrosion. It starts the moment you pull away from the pump. The ethanol in your gasoline just absorbed. A little condensation from the station's tank, or even your own. Here's the thing. When enough water collects, it separates. From the gasoline and sinks. This is phase separation. You now have a corrosive pool of ethanol and water sludge sitting at the bottom of your tank. You can't smell it. You can't feel it. But according to the EPA's own bulletin, EPA 420 F10044, this process is the starting point for varnish and sediment. I've seen tanks from humid climates that look like a shipwreck inside after only 50,000 miles. It costs you nothing today, but ignoring it costs you everything later. The clock is now ticking. If this seems harmless, wait until it starts talking to your car's electronics. Have you ever second-guessed your fuel gauge? Let me know in the comments. Number 10. Fuel sender corrosion. 2 months later, your gas gauge starts acting strange. It sticks on full, then drops to a quarter tank. You blame a glitch. Here's the thing. That corrosive layer at the bottom of the tank is eating the delicate resistor card on your fuel level sender. It's the first real symptom, but it's almost always misdiagnosed. Technical service bulletins from component makers like Delphi Technologies show this is a common failure path. A new sender is just $90. Ignoring it means buying a full $500 pump assembly. Keep misdiagnosing it, and you'll spend $1,000 chasing a ghost while the real problem festers. 3 weeks later, the problem moves from reading the fuel to pumping it. Ever had a gauge lie to you? Hit like if you've been there. Number 9. Fuel filter saturation. It's month 3. On a cold morning, your engine takes an extra half second to fire up. Ever notice that? You blame the battery. You blame the cold. Here's the thing. Your fuel filter is now choking on the rust and sediment brewed in your tank. It's becoming a restriction. Your engine's computer is hiding the problem by forcing the fuel pump to work harder, but the strain is building. A Wix Filters technical bulletin shows that premature clogging from contamination can cut a filter's life in half. A new filter is $40. A new fuel pump, overworked to death, is $800. Getting stranded on the side of the road when it finally gives up? That'll cost you a tow, a day of work, and your sanity. Meanwhile, in Arizona, where dust is a constant threat, this stage can happen even faster. Tell me the mileage on your current fuel filter. Let's see who's pushing their luck. Number 8. The in-tank pump's silent scream. 4 months in, you might hear a faint, high-pitched whine from under the back seat, especially when the tank is low. It's easy to miss. Here's the thing. Your fuel pump is now straining against that clogged filter. It's running hotter, accelerating wear on its own internal parts. The sound is the pump's bearings crying for help. VDO, a major OEM pump supplier, confirms in its training materials that fuel contamination is a leading cause of premature pump failure. You can ignore the sound for free. Replacing the pump before it dies is $800. Letting it fail will cost you that, plus a $200 tow bill. Before you turn the key tomorrow, listen for it. That whine is the bridge from a minor annoyance to expensive damage. Heard that sound? Hit subscribe, because the next stage starves your engine of air. Number 7. Intake valve coking. We're at month 6. Your idle has a slight tremor at a stoplight. It's not a misfire, just an imbalance. Here's the thing. This isn't about the fuel anymore, not directly. In a gasoline direct injection engine, oil vapor from the crankcase gets piped back into the intake. This vapor bakes onto the hot intake valves, forming hard carbon deposits. You feel it as a rough idle. Volkswagen's TSB 2448537 documents this exact issue on their GDI engines. A $70 can of intake cleaner might slow it down. A professional walnut blast cleaning service is $600. Ignore it until you get misfire codes. And you could be looking at a $2,000 cylinder head repair to fix bent valves. If this sounds too simple to be a real problem, remember that this choke point is starving your engine of air. If you drive a GDI car, comment with your mileage. I want to see the data. Number 6. The misfire. That isn't a misfire. 8 months in, you feel a stumble on light acceleration. It's quick. Barely there. Trust me, you've felt it. Here's the thing. Deposits from that dirty fuel are now clogging an injector. It's causing one cylinder to run just lean enough to create a hesitation, but not lean enough to set a check engine light. Your car's computer is fighting back. Bosch, the world's largest injector manufacturer, confirms that even a 5% flow restriction can cause this ghost misfire. A professional injector cleaning is $300. A new catalytic converter, damaged by the unbalanced mixture, is $2,000. Let that lean cylinder run hot for too long, and you're looking at a $5,000 bill for a melted piston. 3 weeks later, the fuel finally breaches the last line of defense. Tap the like button if you've chased a ghost misfire like this. Number 5. The onset of oil dilution. 10 months have passed. The bad spray pattern from that dirty injector is no longer just hurting performance. It's washing lubricating oil off the cylinder wall. Here's the thing. For the first time, a significant amount of raw gasoline is sneaking past. The piston rings and into your engine's oil. You check the dipstick and the level looks fine. You might even notice it seems to go up slightly. You don't realize that your oil is now a toxic, thinned-out slurry of fuel and lubricant. I have an oil analysis report right here from Oil Analyzers Incorporated showing fuel dilution at 4%, enough to drop the oil's viscosity by an entire grade. The problem has now breached the firewall between combustion and lubrication. An early oil change is $80. Ignoring it means accelerated wear on every internal part. The catastrophic cost? You're about to find out. Somewhere inside your engine, AEE, critical component is losing its hydraulic cushion. Drop a comment with the oil you trust, because the next problem tears an engine's skeleton apart. Number 4. Timing chain stretch. It's month 11. Your car feels gutless pulling away from a stop. That low-end torque is just gone. Here's the thing. That fuel-thinned oil can no longer properly pressurize your timing chain tensioner. The chain develops slack. It's only a tiny amount, but it's enough to retard your camshaft timing by a few degrees, killing performance. General Motors issued Service Bulletin 1206-101009 for this exact problem, linking chain stretch directly to poor oil quality. Catch it early, and you might get away with a $300 tensioner replacement. A full timing chain job is a $1,200 repair. If it fails completely, it's a $7,000 new engine. Before you turn the key tomorrow, understand this. The engine's skeleton is now compromised. If you've ever paid for a timing chain job, this next part is for you. This is your final warning. Number 3. The first sign of bearing wear. 1 year. You start the car on a cold morning and hear a distinct rattle for 2 seconds. Then it's gone. You dismiss it as cold start noise. Here's the thing. That was the sound of your connecting rod bearings clattering together, before the thin oil could build enough pressure to cushion them. It is the engine's last audible cry for help. The damage is no longer microscopic. Cut open the oil filter and you'll see it instantly. Fine, glitter-like metal particles trapped. In the filter paper, that's your bearings being ground into dust. The engine is now actively eating itself. The immediate cost is a tow and an $80 oil analysis to confirm the damage. Ignoring it means a $4,000 engine-out job to replace the bearings. The final cost is total seizure. If this feels like the end, it's because the point of no return is terrifyingly close. Your next oil change could be an autopsy. Don't ignore that startup rattle. Number 2, the oil pressure flicker. 12 months, 2 weeks, you pull off the highway and come to a stop. For a split second, the red oil light on your dash flickers. It's so fast you question if you even saw it. Here's the thing, you did. At idle, your hot, fuel-thinned oil is now so watery it can't maintain pressure. Most factory service manuals specify a minimum of 10 psi at hot idle. That warning light only triggers at 5. That flicker means you are operating with virtually no oil protection at all. The bearings are now being starved of oil in real time. The only safe move costs you a $200 tow to a shop. Driving it another 10 miles guarantees you'll be buying the $12,000 engine in our #1 spot. 3 weeks later, it all ends. That flicker was the point of no return. Stay right there. After we watch the final moments, I'll show you exactly how to prevent all of this. Number 1. The point of seizure. This is the final drive. You're accelerating onto the freeway. The increased load and RPMs demand an oil film that simply isn't there anymore. A connecting rod bearing overheats in an instant. It welds itself to the crankshaft. The engine comes to a violent, shuddering halt with a sound you will never forget. I was in a 2017 F-150 when this happened to the owner. It sounded like a grenade went off under the hood. The failure feels random, but it was the inevitable end of a chemical chain reaction, one that started a year ago, with a single tank of contaminated fuel. The cost? $8, $12, even $20,000 for a replacement engine, plus labor. The countdown is over. Now, how do you stop it? This entire cascade is preventable. Here are the 4 actions that stop the nightmare before it starts. First, use top-tier certified gasoline. It contains a higher concentration of detergents specifically designed to prevent deposits on injectors and valves. It's the single easiest defense. Second, use a polyethylamine or PA-based fuel system cleaner. Add a bottle of something like Gumout Regain or Chevron Techron to your tank right before an oil change. PEA is the strongest cleaning agent available, and it dissolves carbon deposits other cleaners can't touch. Third, cut your fuel filter service interval in half. If the manufacturer says 60,000 miles, you do it at 30,000. It's a $40 part that protects an $800 fuel pump and your entire engine. And the ultimate defense? Oil analysis. For $35, a lab like Blackstone or Oil Analyzers Incorporated can detect fuel dilution, down to a fraction of a percent. This is your early warning system. It turns an invisible threat into a hard number on a piece of paper, giving you the proof you need to act before the damage begins. That invisible cascade from bad fuel to a seized engine is a real threat. But now you can see it. You know the signs, and you have the tools to stop it. Now that you know how fuel contamination destroys your engine from the inside out, the next critical step is understanding the oil. That's supposed to protect it. Watch our deep dive on modern engine oil to catch the other silent failure that costs owners thousands.